Well, my name is Sidney Matchett, and I was born 8 miles down the river and lived all my life on the northwest Miramichi, except for 1 year where I was in Ontario. And I learned to fish very young, and over the years I picked up guiding, and I hunted and fished and trapped this area for over 50 years now. So when we were born, there were 16 of us in the family.
Whoa.
My father was a farmer, but all he ever raised, I think, was kids. but we relied on it, and actually, not to be proud of it, we bought a few of the fish hatchery that was set up in Curvington back in my younger days. And if you were small, you could go in where the fish went, and Mother used to cook egg grilled for supper. I remember her when she was babysitting for me here, the lady, when they came out with the first plastic tags. She said, "What are them?" I said, "The laws of things have changed, Mom." I said, "If we catch a grill now, we tag it if we're going to keep it." And she said, "So you're allowed 8 a day?" I said, No, that's 8 for the season." She said, "Times would have been tough home, wouldn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, that was it." But was 14 or 15 of us at the table, like 8 grill wasn't a whole lot of and there wouldn't be enough left for a sandwich the next day. So probably one of the most interesting things, I think, over the years of having the shop. When the door opens, you have no idea who or what is coming in. I met some lifetime friends. Unfortunately, there's some of the older ones who is passing away now. But I've had those good, like for instance, Jim Lawrence, who had won a Stanley Cup with the Boston Bruins in the early 70s. And him and I become very good friends. He done a book, we did an interview here, and we discussed a lot of issues of material. There was a guy that went to Debbie's on Pete and Tom, and old Tom was the father, and he used to come in the shop with a fluorescent. I didn't know what he was doing. He up one row and down another, and he was looking at fluorescent colors. And he said to me, he said, "Sid, you're not using enough fluorescent colors in your fly hook." And I said, "Well," so we discussed different things. So I started experimenting over the years, and he was absolutely right.
Really?
It makes a big difference. Like one green machine I tie, the body is tied out of a fluorescent chartreuse. The fluorescent green and red butt was fluorescent blue crystal tape. And it became a very, very popular hook. So he was right on his theory, and Jim feels the same way. I don't know if you ever read the book he published, but he has a lot of good ideas. The color of the water, the tendency of the water, the height, and what color you should go to on them situations. That guy is Bill Curtis, and that's Hubert Hare. You might have heard Tale of the Hook, the Hubert Hare special. No. It's one that they used at the Big Hole a lot, and I tied for them, but they had no name for it, so we named it after him. Like 4 salmon, and the other one's a trout. And there's a gentleman from the Fredericton area, I don't think he's with us anymore, but every time he come in, he would have a story to tell me. They wanted to run the river, so I asked them up to one bridge, and they spent the day running it down to it. And he was always telling us a story. And he said, but this gentleman, he said, couldn't, all winter and spring, he couldn't wait the first day of fishing season. So he said he was at the local pool on the opening day. And he said, down over the hill, he said, come a funeral procession. He said, gone, and he took off his hat and put it over his head and stood with his head down. But in the meantime, he had hooked a salmon. So he laid the rod down and had his foot on the rod. And there was a youngster there. And the youngster said to him, he said, "My God, sir, that was an awful honest thing that you did." And he said, "Yes, young man," he said, "it is." He said, "Did you know the person in the funeral?" "Yes, I did," he said. "If she had lived 3 more days, we would have been married 50 years, he said. That one I always remember. And every time he'd come in, he'd have a story like that. And I found it very, very interesting. Yeah, don't matter who's the door opens, it doesn't matter who comes in, they're treated the same. And I'll argue with the best of them, the bigger the smaller, it doesn't matter. But I honestly think honesty into it is the biggest thing, and people are saying this year, the price of gas, your business is going to go dead. Well, I had people drive here from PEI on a regular basis, Nova Scotia, a couple that owned a fly shop in Amherst years ago. They seen the article on TV and they said, we're going to find that shop this summer. They landed here one Saturday afternoon. So the price of gas didn't have nothing to do with it. They said they'll travel for service.